Bonjour, je m'appelle hautemesstom. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is hautemesstom. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Yes, I am pulling off this beret. No, I will not be talking about like my normal content in this video. So today we're going to be doing a get ready with me. I'm going to be putting on makeup for a couple of other videos I'll be recording today. If you're new here, typically on my channel, I am critical not only of makeup releases that are currently coming out, but I'm also being critical of the makeup that is already currently in my collection. I'm in the 6-month no-buy. We will be talking about some purchases and a beauty purchase that I made while I was on vacation last week, but that was in my rules. I was well within my rights to buy a beauty item. We'll talk about that as well as we proceed through this video. Am I gonna wear this beret the whole time? I think I am. I don't know. I might in editing like regret that decision immensely. And it also might get hot, but I bought this beret on vacation. Am I a beret person now? Maybe, perhaps. I'm not saying it's not a thing that will happen. Anyway, this is gonna be a long personal video, so if you're not into me, I don't expect you to watch this video, and I assume it's gonna be very lengthy as I am verbose, and I have trouble keeping track of timelines, but we're just gonna jump in. I'm gonna try to hit the highlights for you. I was gonna do a vlog as opposed to this style of video, so I might edit in some stuff that I recorded because I thought I was gonna vlog it. So just like footage of me and footage of the city. So let's get a move on. I'm gonna start with my eyes. My brushes are dirty, they need to be washed. So I know we don't need to come for me in such a way. Let's start going. I'll tell you what I'm using, but we're not gonna talk about the product. This is the Atelier eye primer. Let's backtrack. Let's give you some backstory about me, because you know, I think that's important, because when I was posting on Instagram that I was in Chicago, I felt like a lot of people, not you, but like people I personally know, why on earth would you go to Chicago? So I went to Loyola University Chicago for a couple of years, 2012 to, is that right? Yeah, 2012 to 2013. Okay, yeah, I did 3 semesters there. I was like, is that the right timeline? But you guys know me in month math. I don't really know what I'm doing as far as that goes. Spoiler for part of the story, but today I'll be using the Gucci, I don't even know how to say this. Hold on, I'm wearing a beret. Of course I know how to say this. The Palette Beauté de You. Do any of my subscribers, do any of you speak French? This is just a product of 3 years of public school French and then 2 years of college French, different colleges, because I famously went to 5. I'm trying this for the first time. I'm not gonna really be, I'll talk a little bit about my experience using it, only because I'm using it in real time. If you want a really in-depth first impressions video, go watch Hannah Louise Poston's video. I will link it up there and in the cards for you to check out. You'll get more of a detailed first impression. If you would like to see me review this, I will, because I'm pretty sure that this is like the palette that I want to be using for a while. I want to review it. I want to see if this was worth it. Give it to me. Went to Loyola University Chicago. It was like my junior year into my senior year. I did not finish college in 4 years. That wasn't my journey. That wasn't my destiny. So keep that in mind, I guess. I was starting the school year I was coming in the winter semester, like winter spring semester. I got like randomly placed with a person as a roommate who had spent the first semester with no roommate, and I was just like, hello, it's me. I believe that I like kind of got to like pick my roommate just based on names, and I picked this room. When I arrived at the school in that cold winter day, I took the midnight train from Pennsylvania to Chicago, Pittsburgh to Chicago. I really don't know what color I want to use. I'll try to use different colors than from what Hannah did if you happen to watch her video. Only because maybe we'll get to see some colors we didn't. I don't think I'm gonna go like hard, but we'll see. So I got placed with this person, and his name is Ben. And when I was there, he like was still on winter vacation, hadn't come back yet, and I just was kind of like moving into his space. He knew that I was coming. Like, it wasn't like a surprise that like I was gonna be like, could you imagine if you came back from winter break and like no one told you were gonna have a roommate? But like, I'm pretty sure that I had like applied in the summertime to be there in the winter. So like, he knew after the first semester that I'd be there. Anyway, I remember walking into our dorm. Well, it wasn't a dorm. It was like we lived in like on-campus apartments. So like, just, it's already expensive to live in Chicago, but like even more expensive to like live on campus. And like the food was so expensive. Anyway, the food meaning like the food the school provided, because they made you get a meal plan for whatever reason, even though we had a full kitchen in our apartment. So kind of fucking rude, feels like a scam. But I remember walking in, and I remember he had a Kid Cudi poster, or like piece of art. Like, it was definitely like someone made this, and I don't know if it was made for, obviously, I think afterward I learned that like it was made for him, like he commissioned it from an artist friend. Anyway, so I think late one night, I was asleep and Ben came in, and then the rest was history. Ben very quickly became one of my best friends, and we hit it off really well. And it didn't make, you know, being a queer person, moving into a dorm situation can be rather frightening, because you never know. You never know how the other person's going to be about queer people. I could have moved in with a homophobe, and it could have been like a very awful time. But Ben is, you know, he like helped people, he like helped recruit like women's basketball players for colleges. Like, that was like his job, like his part-time job while we were in school together. And he would like go to girls' high school basketball games and like recruit. Anyway, he watched basketball. He was in like, what is it called? Fantasy football leagues. And we're like quite the opposite. As I sit here in a beret putting on eyeshadow, we were roommates. Like, I don't know. But it is just one of those things that further proves that like, you really can't, you know, judge a person just by like their essence. Right? Because our essences at our core, we are like, you would not assume that we would get along quite as well as we did. Anyway, life moved on. I moved back to Pittsburgh. Ben joined the Peace Corps and was in Morocco. I visited him a couple times in Chicago before he was in Peace Corps. Anyway, he was in Peace Corps for a long time. He went to Morocco. I chose to never go visit him because as a queer person, Morocco is not a place where I can be visibly queer. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but my queerdom is not something that I choose to hide, nor can I hide anymore. There was a long time where I was like I was very much suppressing the kind of queer person I was in order to conform. And I just can't do that anymore. Anyway, he was there for a while. He was there up until this year. Like, there were times where he would come home and like I would like go to wherever he was to visit him when he was like in the United States. Then it was just like for 5 years he didn't come home. The pandemic hit, and so then I just like didn't get to see him. Anyway, he's home. Him and his partner BRANDI are working on a bus. They bought a old school bus and they're revamping it to live in it and travel across the US, and I think they're gonna go to Canada and Mexico as well. And just like live life easy. Live life small, live life easy. I like having stuff, so I don't know that it's small space for me, but I really appreciate what they're doing. So I think it's very cool that they are doing that. Anyway, we'll get to BRANDI in a second. I actually hadn't met her until this trip, so that's why we were going, because Ben was home. I could finally see Ben, but I went with a friend. I went with another friend. We went together. So we flew out super early in the morning. Hello, good morning. It is 4:30. It's before 4:30 in the morning. I'm about to leave to go to Chicago to see an old friend, a friend I met in college, which was now a decade ago, which is upsetting. However, I'm very excited to see him. He has been in Morocco, in Marrakesh, for the past 6 years. I think even longer, but it's been 6 years since I've seen him last, because I did catch him. He did come home one holiday, and so I did see him then. So it's been It's been 6 years since I've seen him, so I'm so thrilled. I'm not gonna see him today, but I will be seeing him on the trip, which I'm so excited about. Early AM flights are like both beautiful and very ugly things. I think that they like, you kind of miss the riffraff with an early AM flight. However, you're flying out early. Oh, I'm gonna pass that. I think that's gonna be smart. Hi, this is what it's like. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the application Marco Polo, but this is essentially how I do it. Like, just set my phone wherever and continue to talk. So, I bought a new suitcase. It is this like, it's like this big pink Juicy Couture suitcase, which is very thrilling. This is also the first time I'll be vlogging, so I don't really know what this will look like, how much footage I need, how much footage I want to take, but I'll be gone for a week, so I think that I can muster some content out of it. And then also, if I were, again, we're very natural. I'm using my phone. This is my carry-on. I'm flying south. I probably should take that pin out. That's probably a smart idea. I don't know that they're gonna like that at TSA, so let's just get rid of it now. Let me triple check that I don't have my knife in here. I'm not really, you know, pro-violence or anything, but sometimes it's just nice to feel like you have something. It's in my other bag. Okay. First check-in. Let's see how this goes. I just want to pop a shimmer on, and I don't know which one I don't know where I don't, also, just as a note, these mattes like blended very well, very easy, like they look really great. I should take a moment to say that I don't know how well he was, like, I think they work beautifully on my skin tone. I feel like if you have anything deeper than light medium, I don't know that these like light mattes will do, right? Like, I don't know, because, and then there's also a white, a cream, and then a light blue, baby blue. The baby blue might look good on deeper complexion, but I don't know. I don't have deeper complexion, but I can imagine that like ashiness might happen with like a pale blue like that, like Robin's Egg blue. Let's try packing it on. Let's try using a brush, because the pans, as maybe you don't know, they're very small. Like they're small, which I don't have a problem with, you know, in this scenario, but they are, just as a note, they're pretty small. So I'm just gonna use a little brush. Oh, I don't think that's not the move. Okay, we're gonna use our finger. I just like didn't want to dip my hand into the pan, which I did to swatch, but you know. So we leave Pittsburgh early in the AM. That's very pretty. It's very soft. It's very soft, which I don't often step back and take the time to do. Although I got a lot of compliments when I had that Cleona look on, where I was like, can multi-chromes work for work? Can you make multi-chromes work appropriate? I think we answered yes. I don't know, this is like very pretty and very soft, and I'm like, I wanna deepen it up. I wanna deepen it up somehow. Let's talk about this. It always looks on camera unblended, and I swear to God, in real life, it doesn't. But whatever, this creases over and creates a shadow just on its own. It's so, if you ever catch like this, it's not because I'm not blending it. It's unless I point out and say like specifically that the product isn't blending out. That's all that is. It's a shadow, like because of the creasing in my head, in my face. Like, do you see that? And then I rest it and it's like there. I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm pointing that out because I'm like, sometimes I like look on, I'm like, I just saw how well it blended, and then I looked on screen, I was like, what is that? But it's shadows. Isn't that fun? This purple has like so much fun sparkle in it. I'm gonna just add a little bit more. You know what? I think I'm gonna keep it soft. I think we we might be wrapping up this eye. I think I might just do a little bit of more of something. So I got really focused on paying attention to this eye look because I'm, you know, using a product for the first time. I'm gonna use like that champagne-y shade on the inner corner. That's beautiful. Oh, so it's interesting, sorry, not to compare, but like I watched Hannah, well, I guess this is worth saying because it was on the trip. I watched Hannah's review, well, first impressions of this particular palette. I downloaded it. It like came out like right before I went to bed. I downloaded it to my phone. I pay for YouTube Premium because I like literally cannot with the commercials on YouTube. And I've been spending a lot of time on YouTube. Did you hear that? Okay, I must say like there's a weight to this and a gravitas to this that like is just very satisfying. So just know that. Okay, we can move on from that. Let's prime the thing. Prime. I'm gonna be using the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. Don't need permission. Flew early in the morning. Our flight was at what, 6:55 our time, and then there was an hour time difference in Chicago. So we were in Central Time as opposed to Eastern. We landed basically like the same time that we left, right? Like, cause like the time, it's about an hour. It's like about an hour flight from here to Chicago. So like you basically just like stay in the same time. It's very confusing. Anyway, landed, took the L. Luckily, I mean, what's very nice about like visiting a place that you used to live is that like there are some instincts that carry with you, and like I just like can traverse the public transit system there rather well. Even if I don't know where I'm going, like I can get to Ann Sather, which I think is how you say it, because I was calling it Ann Sather, but then I heard someone outside call it Ann Sather, so it's either Ann Sather or Ann Sather. I had the best cinnamon rolls of my life. I had them as a side dish, which was an interesting thing. Anyway, that was lovely. We were able to check into our Airbnb early. Our Airbnb was right across the street. Now this might make more people happy than like it made me. I like staying in Wrigley only because it's like you're not far from downtown. If you want to go north, you're not far from going north. That's like my vibe. That's like where I want to stay. And I also like, having lived in Loyola, like the ride from Loyola to downtown is like very long. So like I try not to stay anything north of like Wrigley. Wrigley Field is also, this is a fun fact, and I don't know that it's discussed often enough, and it really shocked me when I lived in Chicago, is that Wrigley Field is like literally 2 blocks from like the gayest part of the city. And now I understand that there are gay and queer people who are very much into sports, but not all Cubs fans are like gonna really love that a bunch of like homosexuals are like 2 blocks away. I just thought that was like, that really tickled my funny bone. So yes, but Boys Town was not far from where I was staying. Goodness gracious, I'm going ad nauseum. I'm like, this makeup look will be done long before we get to any really talking, because I'm just, again, I promised you up front that this was gonna be long and verbose, and so here we are. Okay, I'm gonna wear the Givenchy Teint Couture City Balm for complexion today. Sorry, I'm just really on one. This beret's cracking me. Shut up! Okay, I know I'm gonna get makeup on it, which is, you know, I guess just part of the process whenever you're me. I've been talking for 20 minutes and we just landed in Chicago in this story. Okay. So our apartment inside of a building that had bleachers on the roof, which shouldn't have been Cub season, you can buy tickets to sit on this roof because you can see into Wrigley Field from the roof. It's how fun, right? Luckily, it wasn't Cub season, because I think that would have been a nightmare, because we were on the top floor. We had to like walk up 2 flights of steps, and they were no joke because they like turned. They were steps that like rotated. It wasn't like a spiral staircase, but they were just like 2 staircases that had like a bend in them. And that's a time, especially when you're carrying around a 43-pound suitcase. I love how you get to know how much weight you're rolling around whenever you like check your bag. You just like roll up and you're like, okay, let's see how crappily I pack. We literally could have touched Wrigley Field from like inside our apartment. And you know what? I'm 31. I turned 31 on this trip. It was also my birthday. That was another reason I went to travel a bit. While I did plan it to like fall on my birthday, I was mostly just excited to see my friend. We, being older people, I don't think I'm old. I know I'm only 31. I don't think that's old. And as someone who has not literally traveled in 2 years, which I think is like a pretty common thing, but I used to be someone who, I would go a lot of places. I'm not saying I'm going like to a lot of exotic places I couldn't afford, but like I know how to do Chicago in a cheap way, not cheap, but like in a way that like wouldn't be the end of the world. Like I could make happen. You know people, you can stay with people in places anyway. So just like having not traveled in such a long time, and like I just think like traveling really took it out of me. And besides that, like when you're in an Airbnb, like where are you putting your luggage? So we were just like hauling our luggage around for like a couple hours in Chicago till we can get into our Airbnb. And like I think I mentioned, like we were able to check in early, which I was very thankful for. Our Airbnb was beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was enormous for being like an apartment in a city. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. We had a heated floor in the bathroom, which is like something I've never experienced before, but what a delight. We ordered Malnati's, which is like one of the 3 like deep dish places. Well, there's probably more than 3, but there's like 3 main ones. There's Gino's East, which is, I think there's only 1 location, but I could be wrong about that. And that one's like downtown. And then there's Gino's East, and then Giordano's and Malnati's. And Kristen has decided that Malnati's is the only good one. So we ordered Malnati's and we had it delivered. And honestly, if I ever get deep dish again in the city, like ordering it to have it delivered was like the move. It held up well. I don't know if we had just like a Malnati's that was very close to us. I wasn't in charge of ordering it. I just, Venmo'd my friend when it was done, like done deal. That was the Laura Mercier's translucent setting. Oh, Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. I'm going to contour with the Rodial Instaglam powder. That was a really great time. And then we kind of went to bed. Okay, so it is 6 in the morning, 6:30. And I'm headed to the lake shore for Lake Michigan. And the sun is on its way up. One of my favorite things to do when I'm in Chicago, and I used to do this when I lived here, if I was just like at the crack of dawn, is to go to the lakeshore and watch the sunrise. So that's what I'm gonna do. I think I stalled a little bit too much leaving the apartment, but the sun's not up yet. But I can see the light. It's like definitely starting, which I kind of like to be there when it's black. But we'll see. We'll see how I do. Sometimes it's very easy to forget that Lake Michigan is just a lake. It's so beautiful and vast. But we made it to the sunrise. Not quite as early as I wanted, but the sun's still not fully up. So I feel good about this choice. Ben then met up with us the next day, but not before that. We went to Andersonville. Andersonville is a little bit north of Wrigley. I remember someone telling me whenever I lived there that it was like where all the lesbians were, which is fun. I really thought I was gonna be able to maneuver my head in a way that wouldn't make that weird. Wow, this is looking really yellow on me today, but such is life. I really like the Andersonville area. They have a lot of wonderful boutiques, and they also have maybe my favorite record store in the city. And I don't have that name for me off the top of my head, so I will. Did I contour this side of my face? Andersonville has my favorite record store, which I'll pop up on the screen, and they have a lot of wonderful boutiques. And there's this one store I'll try to like Google Maps the street and like remember where I was. But there's this one place where it's like, it's almost like, I don't know. I'm sure I've seen like a setup like this before, but it's like a bunch of artists rent like booths inside a store. And so you can buy the art, but the artist isn't there. They rent out these booths, and then you buy their art at there's like a front desk. I don't know how else to describe it. So I bought, those were the earrings I meant to wear during this video. I was like, hold on, let's do an earring change. So I bought these earrings. The artist, I thought they would give me like a thing when I checked out about who the artist was, but they did like incredible glass work, and I really like these. Just like the movement in them is like a lot of fun. Now that I'm wearing it, because I only wear one, I don't know if that hoop's supposed to be forward or backward. Anyway, this is like a lot of fun. I think they called them kinetic earrings because of like how they shift and stuff while they're on your ear, which who doesn't love that? And then we like walked around some more. I bought a gift for my friend. My friend's having a child, so I bought a book. The book is called My Shadow is Pink, and it made me cry because of course it did. I was feeling emotional. Let's do Euphoric Fusion from Hourglass. I'm almost done with my makeup. As we were walking around, we passed this restaurant and it was Michelin rated. And so my friend is a foodie. I enjoy fine dining, but like if you were to ask me about my dining experience, I would say that was very good and I would love to do that again. Or I would say, no, that is not a dining experience that I would like to experience again. Like that's where I land. Like I don't really have feelings beyond that. I feel like, because I'm feeling fancy. So let's do this Pat McGrath. This is from last year's holiday edition. Anyway. Let's put that on the cheeks. I know a lot of people really did not get along with this highlighter, but I like it. We ate at said Michelin-rated restaurant, and it was not very expensive. So it was Michelin-rated. I don't think it had a Michelin star. It just said Michelin-rated on the door, and we like looked on the Michelin website to confirm that that was true. And like, I guess, but again, I'm not a big foodie, so like this kind of things just kind of like I know that Michelin stars are like an important part of like food culture, but not a culture that I quite understand. That was amazing. We had baked eggs. Listen, I like actually kind of remember what we ate. The baked eggs they slapped. They came with like pita bread to dip into them, and they were so good. And we got steak hash. But my favorite part of the full meal is we got churros. Oh, I'll be thinking about these churros till the day I die. They were so good. And I'm like, I like churros, but like I didn't know I was like a churro person. And I had these churros and I was like, I am a churro person. And they were just churros. And they came with like a maple dipping sauce. Didn't even need the dipping sauce. They melted in my mouth. They were so yummy. And I was like, I can't believe that after all of that other food, I was like, these churros are it. And a beautiful cocktail that had a flower floating in it. I don't know about flowers. I barely know what I'm doing here on this channel. So after that, we walked back to the apartment, and not long after we arrived, Ben arrived, and so we got caught up. We talked a lot about buses and redoing buses, and then we talked a lot about like social media culture, because I don't know about BRANDI, but like Ben doesn't strike me as like a content creator type, but like they're getting into it. And so we had like poor Kristen, who's like not interested in any of all of this nonsense. Probably didn't really care. We were talking about like SEO and stuff, and it's just like, can you imagine just not being into anything that's going on and just being like, we're talking about SEO and getting really excited about it. Not excited, but like, you know, just like SEO, like we're just like talking about SEO. Now, is this too much? I don't like it with the purple. I don't think this shade is made anymore, but this is super, sorry, this is Sorry Not Sorry from Pat McGrath. I don't think I want to go full opacity with this. I think I'm just gonna, now I'm gonna set this aside. I'm gonna set the mirror aside. I'm gonna put my makeup away while we continue to talk. We're ready. We're ready. I've been talking for 37 minutes and I have not even made it to the third day. This is typical of me. This is why when I open up about my life, which I'm not saying that it's not something I won't do, but it's just like people like want chatty get ready with me, but by being chatty I just distract myself, and so then I'm like, oh, I have to do makeup, so I cannot do the two simultaneously. But they say that's common for people assigned male at birth, is that we have trouble doing more than one thing at once. So anyway, now I'm just going to talk to you about my vacation. So I've got the riffraff out of the way, I've got the makeup out of the way, but it's just probably why you came here. Anyway, so we talk about SEO. Then we decided to walk through Boys Town, and now I do remember the name of this place, but not for good reasons, but like not for like the worst reasons. So we went to this place called Lark. We like were walking around just like trying to find a place to have dinner. Went to this place called Lark, and it was in Boys Town, and we got seated in this table in the back, and they're the kind of gay bar that plays like music videos, which is like not an uncommon thing if you're not familiar with like queer spaces. Like this is not something that's unusual. So they were playing like these songs, like dance tracks from the late 80s and the early 90s, and they were playing their music videos on the screen. And these were just truly intensely wild music videos. Some of them I had seen before, but some of them were just songs that I hadn't seen. Like there was this Jeremiah. I've never been able to say that artist's name. It was a video, and like there was like a helicopter flying over this Jeep, and then they just kept using the same footage and just kind of like replaying it over and over again, and the music video was truly wild. Like I just could not grasp like what we were supposed to get on it. Anyway, besides that, everything on the menu, this place was called Lark, everything on the menu like had Lark in it. So it'd be one thing if their cocktails were just called Larks and like they were Lark, and then the cocktails were, but like I had a spicy chicken Lark, which was a sandwich, but then I also had like a pineapple twist Lark, which was a cocktail. So branding. And then there was also there was no drink or no section called Lark After Dark, and I was like, we've failed as a queer space to not have that be something that we, you know, Lark After Dark. Come on, I'm a marketing genius over here. So the beret is killing me. I can't. We had fun there, although it was like not a place I would go back to. The food was good. The cocktails were not. And like my one friend Etta says it's so funny that I referred to like a drink as a cocktail. No, I said I want a cocktail. I want something that a beverage creator has spent time and thought and just really something special that they were like, oh, people will really enjoy this. And I want it handed to me and presented in such a way that feels like it's a beautiful, like we like beautiful things, right? I want that to also be a beautiful thing. And that's how I want that's how I want my experience to be. My cocktail experience to be. Lark just did not provide that to me. The next day, oh God, we're only on Sunday, and I finished my makeup already, and we still have many days to go. We were trying to walk through like the Lincoln Park area. It was raining pretty badly, so we went to a pub, like an Irish pub, and I had like a hot spiked cider, and we hung out there for a while, and that was fun. And then we were so sick of being out in the rain that we ended up buying stuff to make carbonara at home. And so we went back to the apartment, we cooked at the apartment for dinner. And it was lovely. And then we sat around this like beautiful dining table in our space, which I'm a big promoter. If you travel via Airbnb, if it's a beautiful space, try to utilize the space as well as like going to see the space, like the places that you are in, because I don't know, there's just something special. Like we had like family dinner, and it was like very lovely. And we got into some complex conversations, and then what we were doing in the morning was funny. We'd be like having our coffee and having our tea, like kind of like game planning the day, and we would just like think about where we would want to go, what we would want to do. And I came across like these very stupid questions to ask your friends to invoke conversation, and so we just like started doing that, and so that was a lot of fun. Monday was my birthday, and I think I mentioned this in my no-buy video, my original no-buy video, is that I really want a fragrance. And so the fragrance that I was personally after on this trip is the Harmonist. I want to smell things from the Harmonist. You want to know why I want to smell things from the Harmonist? Michelle Wong. Michelle Wong does the things that I wish I could do. Like if I had enough followers and the resources, like Michelle Wong is like the vision of a creator that I would like aspire to be. Now I've kind of personally, you know, I think we all ebb and flow with creators. Like, I think that's just a thing that happens. I had to, like, stop watching Michelle Wong because I, like, was like, I want all of this, and, like, I can't. Like, I just don't live in a space in which I can have all this. Anyway, Michelle had recently gotten it, I think within the last year, gotten into fragrance, and then she had a sponsored video where she talked about the Harmonist, and she described the one scent as just like, it smells like humidity. And I was like, I want that. That smells intriguing. That smells sexy. That smells wonderful. And I want to smell like that. And I've always had a lot of fun with fragrance. Like when I worked at Sephora, like fragrance was something that I was like starting to get into and starting to appreciate more than I did whenever I like first started working there. So then it kind of like all kind of tumbled, and I was like, I just want a new fragrance. Like I want a signature fragrance. And so I was really interested in trying the Harmonist. The Harmonist is higher end. So Bergdorf Goodman, Neiman Marcus, Bloomingdale's, they all carry the Harmonist on their website, but I didn't know if they stocked it in store. Since we were in Chicago, we went downtown. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit honestly about like the ramifications of the pandemic for a second. So this isn't like meant to be political. It just like is a fact. It was a thing I saw with my own two eyes. Downtown Michigan Avenue was like always a place where there was just so many people, like it was hard to move because it's like the touristy part of the city. That's like where people are. It just is like, that's where a lot of people are. A lot of the stores were like boarded up. There was like there were a lot of stores that like had closed, boards up in the windows, and there was not a lot of people around, and it was alarming. It like kind of made me nervous. Like it made me like, not that like anything bad was happening, but just like it was a little bit it was unsettling. It felt unsettling to be in a space that I remember as just like a place that hustles and bustles, and just like there's like nothing there, and like there's not nothing there, but there's just like much less there. Even on Michigan Avenue, on the streets just immediately off Michigan Avenue, there was just like less stuff, and it was pretty unsettling. So we went to the Nike store because one of Kristen's coworkers, there's merchandise that they only sell in the Nike store in Chicago. It's Michael Jordan specific merchandise. So we went there. I found a very cute sweatsuit that I thought about buying. It was like a crop top sweatsuit, and it was like very cute. And I was like, I want to find my fragrance. Like that's, maybe if I can't find it, I'll swing back around and I will buy this sweatsuit. And like, what a weird thing to like want, but it was very cute. And I could easily replicate it with something more inexpensive, or like try to find like something more sustainable, which is like a journey that I'm on, but it's not, I'm not here to shame anyone who shops fast fashion. It's just like a thing that I'm trying out. I'm trying to buy higher quality clothing, and I don't buy a lot of clothes either. So anyway, I could also buy like from elsewhere. Like this is not a thing that I needed to buy at the Nike store in Chicago. But it was cute. I found it. It was there. Also, let it be known that I saved up a lot of money for this vacation because I wanted to like shop. I wanted to do the damn thing. Like that was really what I wanted to do. So I was curating experience. Like this was a safe space for me to spend money. I just like want to make that clear. Like I wasn't pulling out credit cards. Like this was like pulling out my debit card because I had the money set aside. Like this is what we were doing. Like I knew that this was going to be part of my process. Like this is what I wanted on vacation. We went to Neiman Marcus. I was walking around the fragrance section. You know, I always try to like find the thing myself and then ask questions, but didn't see it. So I went up to this person asked me, they asked me if I needed any help, and I said, do you carry the brand The Harmonist in store? And they said to me, they were like, I've never heard of that, good luck. And I was just like, do you want to tell me about anything else that you have here? Because while my heart was set on The Harmonist, you could talk about other products. Like, okay, I love a luxury sales experience. It's like, it's typically a delight, but you have like cognitive dissonance. Like if there's a salesperson who takes the time to work with you and just like gives you a great sale, and like, I understand that sometimes people aren't buying and like, why do you want to put that much effort in? But like, you're still making a moment where like, maybe when that person has the money to purchase something from you in the future, they'll seek you out because you had such a great time, like trying things on with them, smelling things with them, putting makeup on with them. Like, you know, like I just like, when that's an experience, like whenever I'm gifted that experience from another person, it's very special to me. And it's like something that I like think about a lot. Like when I bought my Burberry scarf in the Burberry store in Chicago, her name is Sam. I remember her. Like this was years ago. And I remember our conversation, and we even talked about makeup. She put some concealer on me. Like we had a really great time. And while yes, I did happen to buy something that time, if I would have wanted to buy something later, I would have called the store and bought it from her, and to make sure that she got commission for it. Because like, this is how those things work. Because like, as I was gifted an experience from her, I really liked her. We had great rapport. that's the kind of experience I expect going into a luxury place. Now, yes, it was raining outside. Did I look my best? Did I look like I was rich or whatever? No, I didn't. But that shouldn't be the baseline to talk to me and sell to me. So anyway, that person really pissed me off in such a way. So as soon as they said that, I grabbed my group and I said, we are leaving. Then we walked to Bloomingdale's across the street in a mall, and they walked. I did a walk around, and then there was the harmonist. I couldn't find it, and I didn't even want to ask this time, considering I just had a weird experience. But they did have a Bond number 9 counter, and long story short, in Pittsburgh, our Nordstrom used to have a Bond number 9 counter, but then it went away, which was unfortunate. But I can tell you that every experience I had at a Bond number 9 counter had always been magical, always. I love the scents of Bond number 9. They're amazing. People have purchased Bond number 9 sample sprays from me. You know, I'm familiar with the brand. I like it. I always have a good time. Whenever people give me the time of day, I'm always excited to talk about Bond number 9. So I stroll up to this Bond number 9 counter. And to be fair to this person, they were very clearly restocking something. And they asked if I need any help. And so then I was like, oh, maybe they do have time to talk or whatever. And so I was just like, oh yeah, I'm looking for a new fragrance. I didn't know if you would be able to help me. And they were like, no, but you can spray some of your own stuff and figure that out for yourself. And I was just like, that's not really what I wanted. Again, I'm looking for an experience that comes with spending money. That's the more important part to me. While I still want a beautiful product on the other side of it, I'm looking for human interaction, right? I just wasn't getting it. So then after that, I was just like, I'm done. And then there was a Gucci store in this mall, and I was like, as I said, I watched Hannah's video on the way in. I have been very intrigued by this palette right here. And we also walked into the Sephora store on Michigan Avenue, and I specifically asked if they had it because I wanted to just feel it. I just wanted to lift up the palette. Also, let it be known, in that Sephora store, they had Mothership 9. And now, did I make a video talking about why I wasn't going to buy Mothership 9? Yes, I did. But I saw it in person, and that was a different story. It's fucking beautiful in person. Almost to the point where I was like, am I going to buy that as my, a luxury item? To, have on my, is this going to be it? At that point, I hadn't already decided that I was no longer looking for fragrance because of my bad experience, because we went to Sephora before those other stores. But it was thought of. It was not off the table. I think next year during a Pat McGrath sale, if I'm feeling so inclined, that is something that I might buy, because it was truly beautiful. But this no-buy situation, this situation that I have currently found myself in, we're doing, decluttering is coming. I know cognitively and specifically with my Pat McGrath, which I'm not all the way through all of my reviews for that, but they're coming, so I'm going to be working hard on those in the next couple of months. Watched Hannah's first impressions video on this palette, the Gucci palette. So I went to the Gucci store. They didn't have cosmetics at the Gucci store, and they didn't have the palette at Sephora. And then, even though Hannah's video was just a first impressions video, I could tell as she was applying it that the formula reminded me a lot of some other stuff I had. So this is a video I think I'm going to work on in the future and talk about luxury makeup. So not Pat McGrath, not Natasha Denona, but luxury. So Chantecaille, Tom Ford. And why do I put those in different categories is because this quad was, I think, originally $90. And look at it, right? However, what I've found in luxury makeup is, as I found applying today, is that luxury makeup is easy. It's so easy. And the impact, I think this eye is intriguing, but not too much. But if I used a Pat McGrath palette or I used a Natasha Denona palette, I would have an intriguing eye, but it would not be soft. And I think shadows like these do not apply the same way that high impact couture shadows do, even though Natasha Denona and Pat McGrath are definitely high end. Definitely you could consider them luxury too. This is everything's performing how I expect a luxury product to perform. So I think it's different. And I think I would like to talk about it and do applications and think about it, because if you're interested in luxury makeup but you like high intensity, you just might not like luxury makeup. Buying a Tom Ford quad, even though it's something that you might covet, it might not be for you. Vice versa, if you are someone who is kind of wants to buy yourself something, but you're afraid that if you spend a lot of money, it's like not going to perform like in a way that you want, and you want softer looks. I think the opposite. I think that you might very much enjoy buying yourself a luxury palette and getting like soft, gorgeous, stunning looks from it. Because they didn't have it in any of the stores, I didn't think I was gonna be able to find it. I had two $25 gift cards. I had a $15 Sephora credit card reward. And then I also had $10 off in points at Sephora. So 50, 65, 75. The palette was essentially half off. So I bought the palette. And that was my little treat to myself. And I just had it shipped home, obviously. I like didn't need to have it. And so that's how we ended up with this. And so far, just having it to look at is just gorgeous. But I really enjoyed putting it on my eyes today. So obviously gonna continue playing with it. Did you hear that? I love that. Oh. I just think you needed to hear that again. After we were done with our shopping, we headed to Three Dots and a Dash, which is a tiki lounge. And not only that, it's a speakeasy tiki lounge. So I got us to the street that it was supposed to be on. And then I was like, I don't know where it is. It's supposed to be right here. And I was like, was it actually closed? But no, we had to like go around the building. There was an alley and we went downstairs. And never in my life had I felt like so old. As we were walking down these stairs, it was like very dark. And I was like, oh my God, it's so dark down here. And so much so that I like lit up my flashlight on my phone to like walk down the last couple of stairs because I was just like, it's so dark down here. And that was a theme that continued because it was the speakeasy tiki lounge. It was like finally I had a cocktail in my hand that was like perfectly crafted. I got 3 drinks while we were there, and I think I had the best cocktail of my life at this restaurant, this space, this bar. I'll have to pull it up. I'll flash it on the screen, but it was an espresso, pineapple, coconut, rum cocktail. And I understand that might sound just atrocious to you. And it did to me as well. And I was like, there's a reason this is on the menu and I'm going to have to try it because I'm one of those people. Like if there's an absurdity in an establishment that like is a fine dining, like, or like is an experiential space, I was like, well, I have to try it. And so I'm going to try to like redo me tasting it for the first time. So okay, so. And then that was it. And it was like my best drink of my life. It was so good. It was so good. I'm gonna think about it a lot. I almost ordered it again, like, because we were staying for another drink, but I felt that would be a shame. And I think between the 3 of us, we ended up seeing all of the variations of presentation for the drinks because, you know, if you've never been to a tiki lounges always present their drinks very extravagantly. So there's like dry ice components, things getting lit on fire, like, you know, just always that kind of fun stuff. We had an incredible time there. More deep conversation. It was my birthday. My family forgot my birthday. And I'm gonna take the time to just like tell a little brief story. You know, we're already taking the time. I've been talking for an hour. Hopefully this video is not as long as it's taking me to record it. My mom normally sends a group text message every morning of someone's birthday. So if it was my cousin's birthday, we would get a text. I swear upon waking in the morning, there will be a text message waiting for me saying it's blank's birthday, wish them a happy birthday, and a phone number will be included. I did not wake up to a plethora of happy birthday texts from my family, and I was like, I'll give it some time. So I gave it the whole day. And so then I was a little tipsy. So I had someone take a picture of me. And so I sent them this picture of me and I said, it's my birthday, just in case you forgot. And then my mom said, I did. And then I got a plethora of text messages saying, happy birthday. You know, I don't care about a lot of things, but I do kind of care about my birthday. I don't know why I put so much investment in my birthday, but like I do. And I felt pretty shitty about it. Anyway, also, anyone who took the time to wish me happy birthday on my birthday, thank you so much. That was truly lovely. It was a very, very special birthday. And I still had, even though my family forgot, I still had a lovely time on my birthday. Tuesday was a beautiful day. We went to Wicker Park. We went to this restaurant that had like plants everywhere and then a disco ball in the middle of all of the plants. And I was like, that's a place we have to go. Drinks were fun there. It was way more casual than anything we had done, but it was still a lot of fun. Had more pizza, which I don't think we knew that it was a pizza place going into it. We just were going there because we thought it was fun. Bought more records. That was my final day of record shopping. You might not be interested in records, but I'm gonna show you what I bought. Just, okay? Like, we're getting to know each other. This is like more of a personal video, so hold on. There were quite a few record stores that I stopped in while I was in. A lot of them were Wreckless Records, which is like a chain of record stores. There's 3 of them in the city. And then that one in Andersonville. So this was like my nightcap of records. I kept finding things I couldn't find online and bought them. Okay, so this will also give you an insight to my musical taste. This is St. Vincent's Marry Me. This is St. Vincent's first album. I feel I have a very specific type of music that I enjoy, and I've been told it's ethereal female voices, and I really like the artists that I like. So St. Vincent is someone I'm trying to collect them all with the vinyl. I still need one more. I need Actor. That's the only one I need. But I have all the other ones. Oh no, I need Mass Seduction as well. But yeah, I was very excited to find this. I was like, this has to be out of print, but maybe they've done another printing. But I found it. It also was one of the lesser expensive ones that I bought when I was out about. Kate Bush's The Dreaming. I'm a big fan of Kate Bush. I did a series on my podcast, It Bears Repeating, and I talked a lot about Kate Bush, and then like a lot of her story really resonated with me. I think that Kate Bush and I have very similar feelings about things just in general. And so this album, so I'm gonna like go into Kate Bush history. This album was like a flop in its time, but it has aged rather well. This is very experimental and very fun. Very spooky, actually. Looking forward to playing this. Roy Sheen Murphy's Roy Sheen Machine. This album has Murphy's Law on it, which is like one of my favorite songs. I love Roy Sheen Murphy. I would like to buy some of her back catalog on vinyl, but I don't think it's gonna get repressed ever, so those are going to be some like big Discog purchases maybe in the future if I'm feeling so inclined, but very excited to have this. Beyonce's Lemonade. So I bought this. I wasn't going to buy this, but then I talked to my friend Tiffany's husband briefly, and he said, if it's around this price, that's the price it is, and if you don't buy it now, you'll spend a lot more money on it later, so I bought it. It's also it's on yellow vinyl, which I'm excited about. I love color vinyl. I'm not an audiophile by any means, so if you are somehow a record collector that started watching this video and made it here, like you are very into records, I don't know what anything means. I don't know what 180 grams of vinyl, I don't know what that makes that better. I don't know why. You don't need to explain it to me in the comments. I really don't want to know. I like having physical medium. I like listening to records, and if the record makes sound that sounds like the song that I think it's supposed to sound like, I've won. So I don't need all of that extra stuff. Anyway, so just know that. Lizzo's Coconut Oil EP. So I didn't really like Lizzo's first album, sorry, not to be rude, but this EP is like very good, and I'm very excited that I have it on vinyl. Also, I haven't opened it yet, but it's supposed to smell like coconuts, like the insert. So interesting. Solange is one of those artists that I gotta collect them all. And this completes my Solange collection. So I have all of the albums. I have the True EP and then the 2 albums. So I'm very excited about that. I don't know if they pressed Soul Angel, but that's actually not what I'm interested in. So I have completed the Solange collection that I would like to have. I bought Bjork's Post. So this wasn't really the Bjork album that I thought I was gonna end up buying, but I didn't find, I think it's Medulla or something like that. Anyway, a couple weeks ago, I listened to the whole Bjork discography and I've always appreciated Bjork, but I always felt like Bjork was a tough listen, and having listened to the entire catalog, I have a higher appreciation for Bjork. I think what's interesting about Bjork, and this is just like a little oversight, God, I've like now talking about music, I'm supposed to be talking about my vacation, but it's my video, okay? Everyone calm down. What I've learned to really appreciate about Bjork is that her lyrics are rather simple. Like really, truly very simple. It's the music that is difficult, but the message is always very clear and kind of soars above all of that. And so while you are hearing some sonically difficult things, the lyrics aren't. And that's what I really appreciate about Bjork. Star-Crossed from Miss Casey Musgraves. Good times. Had to do it for the gays. We had to do it. Also, I really like Casey Musgraves. I'm not just doing it because it's like a thing. This one was one I was very excited to find. So Charlie XCX's Charlie album has been out of print. Like they printed it, and I don't need special, like I like the special vinyl, but I don't like need it. But so this one's just black, but I could not find it anywhere. So when I found it in a record store, I was like, well, I'm bringing home this. Like there's no way I'm not. This album's phenomenal. I love hyperpop. It's like something well, and I also just like love Charlie XCX. I've been there since the beginning. Would love to have more of her vinyl, but hers is a little hard to get my sticky fingers onto. Finally, this had been out of print for a while, but the guy at the record store said they just started printing it again. I'm so happy to have Emotion by one Carly Rae Jepsen in my collection. I didn't like the follow-up to this album as much as I liked this album, so this was the more important one, but I'll probably get the other one at some point before I continue to tell my story of my trip that you are all very intently listening to. Thank you if you've made it this far in the video. If you are still enjoying spending time with me, I love you. I do. So just know that. There was something that was going to lead into after that, but anyway, finished my record shopping. We went back home, and then we hit up an old place that I used to go to a lot called the Bar en Buena. The Bar en Buena was actually a couple blocks from the last apartment I lived in Chicago, and I could never really afford to go out or drink when I was living in Chicago. I wasn't working. I was just going to school full time, and this is one of those places that it's just small. It's like in the middle of a neighborhood. There's no retail space around it. And it's just like a very special little place. It has great ambiance, large windows. Like, it's just a beautiful space that I really like to spend time in. So that was really lovely. I think we're out finally on Wednesday. Wednesday was like the big day. So BRANDI came down to meet us, and we got to meet BRANDI, and she's absolutely lovely. And watching her and Ben interact with each other was truly special. And I'm happy to see Ben happy. And there was like a beautiful silent confidence in their relationship that I really appreciate. And I don't really like to comment on other people's like relationships. Like, that's not really what I'm trying to do, but like, I really appreciated that. It was very nice to see. We went to lunch at a ramen place. We had a good time. We went back to the Nike store because I didn't buy the fragrance. I thought maybe I can buy that sweatsuit, but the Nike store had rearranged their entire store and had different stock when we went in from Monday to Wednesday. So I was like, it's fine. I don't need it. And then everyone there was like, no, we'll like figure it out. I was like, I don't need it. Like, this is like also a true sign was like, I don't need the Nike sweatsuit. You know what I mean? Then that night we went to the Aviary. Now, you're thinking birds, we had cocktails. So essentially this was my birthday dinner, so I don't really know how much this cost, but I think you could just easily find this on the Aviary's website if you were interested in what I'm about to describe to you. We did it's like a 5-course meal with a cocktail pairing. It's a very ritzy place. It's a very ritzy place to be, and then everything that the waiters say to you is very hokey, and it was something that my brain didn't really like. Whenever we were first sat and whenever we first had our first interaction with one of our servers, you have many servers over the course of the evening. I don't know how that works, but our first server came over and he said, are there any allergies? And so I just say I'm allergic to banana because it upsets my stomach, but I'm like not gonna have like throat and whatever. And it's like, I like the taste of banana, so like, I was at a fancy place, so I wasn't going to say it. I was like, I'll try. If they are making something with banana in it, I'll be fine. My stomach might be upset. I'll be uncomfortable later. But I was like, you only get to like have these opportunities once. No one said anything. And then, he asked if there's mushroom soup was one of our courses. And he said, would anyone like black truffle grated atop the mushroom soup? I actually don't like mushrooms, but I do love truffle, and I understand that doesn't make sense because truffle is technically a mushroom. But I said, go ahead and put some of that on top of mine. I would like that, please. Thank you. They bring out the first drink. I'll pop pictures up on here because like I'm not gonna be able to do any of this justice. If I were to tell you this as a friend, like if we were like just having a very casual conversation about it, I would have said it was a very cool experience and I highly recommend you doing it. But I'm going to elaborate a little bit here because I can't just say that to you. This came out in this round pitcher and it was a brandy beverage, and they said to drink it slow, let it steep. There's like a bunch of stuff in this container that they want you to allow the brandy and the mixture to steep into, and they were like, as you pour it, it will grow in color and depth. And it did. I didn't like it was very sweet. I like very sweet things, but I don't like my drinks to be very sweet. It's a weird thing. I very much like my cocktails to taste like poison in some fashion. Because I like there to be a reminder that what we were doing is like, I'm not like, for lack of a better thought here, not good for us. Like, I like to have that reminder, like, this is poison. Like, essentially, this is poison. Like, your body reacts to this because it's like poison. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel. So it was very sweet. Didn't really taste like liquor. Again, that's a positive to most people, but for me personally, I was just like, I'm not getting anything out of this. And I have had other cocktails that do not taste like liquor at all that I have very much enjoyed, but the sweetness of this was just like not really hitting it for me. And the first course was oyster with caviar. And I don't like oysters, so I really didn't care for it, but I did eat it, which I should have opted not to, but I ate it and I was like, you know what, we did it. And like, I am not sure I've had caviar beyond this experience. I think I have, but I'm not 100% sure. Got through the first course. The second course was corn fritters and this raspberry drink. So there was like little, you'll see in the photo, there were like little red balls. They're ice, and it was like raspberry something. And as that melted, it made your drink taste more and more like raspberries. Famously not a fan of raspberries. Not allergic to raspberries. Don't upset my stomach, but like, I just don't like the taste of raspberries. It is a fine cocktail. I would say like, there was a lot of balance in it, so it didn't taste gross. You know, it didn't taste like blue raspberry disgustingness, which is like what my brain goes to when I think of raspberries. And I understand that like, raspberries don't really taste like blue raspberry, but my brain can't help but like, go there. The corn fritters were awesome. The drink, that's fine. Here comes the third course. Here comes that mushroom soup. Okay. So it turns out to be, if I could have dreamt up a nightmare of a course of food to be presented to me, it would have been this. So first they present us with the mushroom soup. They like walk us through the ingredients. Mine has the black truffle on it, and what a beautiful sight for me. It came with this gorgeous, crispy garlic bread, I think, or what I'm gonna call garlic bread. And then the drink that was served with our mushroom soup was a banana gin cocktail of some sort. And it had a curry ice cube that was attached to the inside of one side of the drink. And so they were like, when you hold it, hold your hand on the side with the ice. So your hand melts the ice, and then the spiciness of the curry will go into the banana cocktail slowly as you drink it. It was the best course of food I've ever had in my entire life. And what a shock. What a shock. The mushroom soup is maybe one of my favorite things I ever ate. And I was like, how do I not like mushrooms? And like, this was lit. It was so good. This mushroom soup was fucking scrumptious. So fucking delicious. I'm gonna think about it, and then having that truffle on it, oh, it was so good. Oh, and the crispy bread. Oh, I would have licked that bowl. If we weren't in a fancy establishment, I would have shamelessly licked the bottom of that bowl. It was unbelievably good, and the cocktail was so good, especially once I started getting the spiciness from like I'm saying curry, but I don't know that that's right. It's a curry ice cube, but no, that can't be right. But like, it was very yummy as it got spicier. The fourth course was a duck confit. Duck confit? Sorry, every time I like say something French adjacent, I get very excited that I'm wearing a beret. And I understand that not all French people wear berets, and I understand that that's like kind of a stereotype, but I'm feeling fancy, and it's an appreciation, not a mocking. I just am very excited to be wearing a beret. And the whole reason I bought a beret was because I wore this outfit the one day, and we all agreed that it would look very good with a beret. We wanted a black one, but I could only find a pink one. I found this on my second to last day there. I found this beret, and I was like, well, we have to do it for the culture, don't we? We had to have a beret before the end of the trip, and I did. It's not black, but I do think I might buy a black beret because I do want to wear it with that outfit, because I was like, this would go. It would really work. So this is not the last beret you'll see in my collection. Maybe we'll have a beret collection. No, I don't need to collect hats. I don't often wear them, but I thought they'd be fun and spicy for YouTube content. And so I think it's working. And let me know in the comments. With the duck confit came this thing they lit on fire. I actually have footage of them lighting it up, so I'll put that in here. It was the strongest cocktail we had, and after having so many things that did not taste like liquor, this one tasted like liquor, and my mouth was like, I don't like this. It wasn't a bad cocktail. I think had I gotten that first, or like if I looked at it on the menu, I would have ordered it and been very happy with it. But I think just like the way everything else had gone, like it didn't work for me in like the presentation situation. Well, it was very fun to watch them light it on fire, but you know what I mean? Like it just, yeah. Moving on. The last drink was a Rum Float. So it had chocolate rum, and then they put a grasshopper scoop of ice cream in, and it was like a float, and it was quite delightful. And then we had coconut nut ice cream on top of dried mandarin and crisped rice. And that was an experience. It was really good, but it was also something that I could have only ate the amount that they gave us, because there was also like something very sour happening, and it was like, I've been told I have a very expressive face, and even without eyebrows, people can see. So I think people really knew that I was confused about what I was eating, and it's not that I didn't like it. It was just very specific. And then that was the last I saw of Ben and Brandy. They went back to their bus, back to working on their bus, and now they're on their way. They were doing conferences. They're doing amazing things in the world, so I'm very happy. Their name is Remote Ramblers on Instagram. Go ahead and follow them there if you're interested in bus life. I highly recommend it. Check that out if that's something that you're interested in. I'll link it in my description box below. The next day was very rainy again, and we wanted to drink in Boys Town. We liked this bar, DS Tequila, and we got a picture of like this frozen black cherry drink. And by the time we were done with it, we felt so sick. Not because of alcohol, but because of the sweetness of the beverage. And then we just had to call it a day because we both felt so gross, which is fine because it was so nasty out. And like by the time we got back to the apartment, it was like about 5 o'clock. I took a nap, and then I woke up a couple hours later, and my friend was still in the living room. I went up to her and I was like, did you want to do something tonight? Because if you do, I'll get ready. We can go. If not, I think I'm just going to go back to bed. And then I went back to bed. Then it was Friday. We checked out. We used this service called Bounce, which is, I'll talk about it briefly. Bounce is like you check your bags at a business. And so while you're on your way out, you can shop around, like, leave your bag somewhere and then catch your evening flight, even though you had to check out of your Airbnb at 10, which is like what we did. So we checked our bags. It worked very well. We happened to check them at a UPS store. Like, it's a quality service that I will do again. Like, I really enjoyed having that service being an option. Because, when you stay in a hotel, you can leave your suitcases with a bellhop on your way in and out instead of having to lug your suitcase around. So we just kind of shopped around downtown again, just kind of hopping in and out. We went to the Starbucks Reserve, which was a 4-story Starbucks. And it's very touristy, but I find delight in touristy things. And I used to be someone who would go on vacation and be like, I will never do the touristy thing. The touristy stuff is so stupid. I had a great time at the Starbucks Reserve. They serve cocktails. And we both had a coffee cocktail, and it was quite a delight. And of course, it was very exciting to see something other than like an espresso martini, which is a beverage I really enjoy, but it was nice to have some other options as far as like a cocktail. And so that was really cool. And then we went to Saks Fifth Avenue. And here's the turn of events that we were not expecting on this trip. We went to Saks Fifth Avenue, and just to look, because, Saks is expensive, but not that luxury beauty is like technically affordable. It's not the most expensive thing at Saks Fifth Avenue. So keep that in mind. So we went up all the stories and came back down, and my friend they had a bond counter there. She's like, let's see if we can stop at the bond counter. Let's see if they'll give me a sample. So they call their samples bonbons. Like, let's see if they would give us a bonbon of one fragrance, because she wanted her friend to try a fragrance. And she was like, let's see if we can get one for him. And I said, okay, it's fine. And so in my head, I was like, this is going to be another nightmare experience. Like, I've had such a time with high-end retailers on this trip. And wouldn't you know it, this beautiful woman, beautiful, fantastic woman, her name is Dawn. I'm gonna link, so Dawn, this Instagram that I am posting is Dawn and the other person that work at this bond counter run this Instagram specifically for the Saks Fifth Avenue in Chicago. It is like for those two. And they talk about like upcoming things. I'm going to link it down there because if you are interested in bond fragrance, I know you wouldn't be able to smell it virtually, but what a great resource to have these people to make recommendations. And again, I think fragrance eludes a lot of people, eludes me. And so when we walked up to the counter, Dawn was very excited to like see us. Dawn was not pushy, but Dawn immediately showed us the new fragrance and then asked if we had any experience with bond. We like talked back and forth. And then the most beautiful thing starts happening. Dawn starts showing us her favorite like scent combinations. And she was making some beautiful combos of things. So my personal favorite fragrance from Bond Number 9 has always been the Scent of Peace. A Scent of Peace was a scent that they made in response to the 9/11 terrorist attacks. And they were I don't know if they still donate, but whenever it first launched, at least, they donated 100% of the proceeds to victims, survivors, etc. Because Bond Number 9 is out of New York, and like all of the scents, for the most part, like at least the OG scents are neighborhoods in Chicago. So there's like Greenwich Village scent. There's like, you know, a bunch of different streets. You know, there's just like, it's like that was kind of the vibe. So she starts layering, and we were having the best time. We were like wafting and smelling and just taking in this experience. And I had such a great time with Dawn. I was like, I don't think this fulfilled my fantasy. It might not have been the fantasy that I envisioned in my head, the one that I had created before I came to Chicago. But this was just next level. This is all I wanted. This is all I wanted for my trip, and I was so happy. Dawn was so lovely. I bought a couple of fragrances. And I was only really gonna buy one fragrance. I really wanted one. But we had such fun layering, and I had like a bougie bitch. I was like, do you ship? And she said, of course I ship. And so I bought some stuff from Dawn, and Dawn gave us their Instagram for that booth or for that counter. And Dawn took a bunch of information from me about like my scent profiles that I like, so she can recommend things in the future to me. And that's what I love about, like, I'm not going to need fragrance anytime soon. And arguably I didn't need fragrance to begin with, but I'm very excited. I had like a beautiful experience. I'm going to start wearing fragrance. She taught me a lot about layering, and she said I just had such a wonderful time. And like, again, I understand that like capitalism wins in this scenario, but I bought it because of my experience with Dawn, and also beautiful fragrances, beautiful pieces to add to my fragrance collection. We could do a fragrance video. I don't know how fun that would be for us, but we can try it if you want to see the fragrances I have, because I've gotten some in gratis and working at Sephora, and now I have bought a few. And for whatever reason, whenever I use Influencer, they never want to send me makeup. They always send me men's fragrances. So I have like a small collection, and it's not. I know that there's some creators I felt like when Michelle Wong got into fragrances, I was like, that's dangerous. Dangerous. That's because especially when you have like a collector's mentality, like fragrances are beautiful. They are like pieces to put on your counter. They're much like this Gucci palette where it's like, it's in a moment, right? I feel like fragrance is very similar. Like they try to design it to be something that sits on your vanity as being like one of the 3 things you allow to clutter your vanity. So anyway, I'm not about to like take a journey on fragrance, but if you would like to see my fragrance collection, I wouldn't mind talking about it. My only concern is whenever I start talking about something that other people might be passionate about, like music or fragrance, I'm not going to have the vocabulary to, you know, really not say a lot. Like I can talk to you about what it reminds me of and my experience like with said fragrance. However, I just, you know, I don't have the vocabulary. I don't have the knowledge that I have accrued like I have whenever I talk about makeup and my experience with it. So, you know, it wouldn't be, but it'd be fun. If you want to do that, I wouldn't be opposed. So that was like the last thing we did is like I bought fragrance. We hopped on the L, went back to Midway Airport, and then we flew home after quite the delay. That was very frustrating. I don't know about you, but when vacation's over, I'm like, I want to be home. Like, I don't want to travel. And then they told us we were going to have a turbulent ride, and it turned out to not be that bad. It was like a little bit bumpy at the beginning, but it was easy breezy. But when I was supposed to be at home at 10 p.m. Eastern time, I did not get home until 1:30. So it was like quite the time. And then one of those things that happened was that I was so tired until I got home, and then I had energy. So then I was up until like 2 to 3, and then I couldn't sleep. I woke up at 6 yesterday, and then I was like very drowsy all day. But I had a wonderful time. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you did, wonderful. I'm not even gonna go into my beautiful spiel that I try to do at the end of every video. there's more content to be had from me out there. If this was your first video with me and you just enjoyed spending time for me talking about Chicago, cool. And more makeup content from me coming obviously very soon. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in my next one. Bye, friends. Woo! Okay, let's take this. Let's see how crazy my hair looks, guys.